Texas has the right to secede from the United States?
No, it doesn't. We literally fought a war about that.
Well, there's a variety of harsh realities about Texas seceding from the Union or any state attempting to secede from the Union that would take place and would arise from the action. So, first and foremost, the federal government of the United States wouldn't allow for that to happen.
But I'll tell you, the more and more Texans talk about seceding from the United States, and the more and more Texas Republicans up that state, the more and more I become into the camp of, okay, go ahead and do it. We don't need you.
Let's say that if for some reason Texas truly seceded from the United States. It would then be surrounded pretty much on all sides except the very south by a then foreign government, which it was once a part of. So the United States would have all this military power over them. They would have all this economic authority to sanction the pants off of them. I mean, any and everything Texas would try to do if they successfully seceded from the Union, they would just be blocked off from the entire world until they were like, all right, we'll come back in. Because that's just the reality of nation states. I mean, were this to happen here or in any country around the world, if one of your biggest cash cows is going to attempt to leave, or any of your borders is going to attempt to leave, then it's going to be like, no, you're not. Because that affects the whole. For the right or the wrong, that's just the reality of Texas seceding.
You have the U.S. Constitution that tells us it's our right. We have the Texas Constitution, which says it's our duty to alter or abolish the present government in any manner we see expedient. We have the right to do this. Or do y'all just want to join the rest of the population in being gluttons for punishment? Because this is not going to stop here. We're going to be weakened, we're going to fall, and we're going to be attacked by our enemies around the world. Texas doesn't need to submit to anybody.
Not only just, the sanctions and the military action that would come from it, but that would greatly damage the economy of Texas. I mean, unless they started literally producing everything in-house, and the state of Texas doesn't have all the resources necessary that they use today. Every state uses resources from every other state and countries all over the world. That's how world trade works, and that's how trade within a nation state works. And that's one of the benefits of being part of a united nation. Again, so Texas would have just immediately cut itself off from all types of trade. And then they would have to partner themselves even harder with Mexico. And we already know that Texas and Mexico, well, first and foremost, it used to be the same thing. But that aside, we already know that they have a very close relationship in trade. But culturally, especially with the growing Republican culture in Texas and red states, period, they don't really view Latinos in a kind light. So it's like, okay, now you're seceded from the United States, which means ultimately you're going to have to become greater allies with Mexico. And how are the people who are on the far right within Texas really going to react to that? Let's be serious. And finally, of course, there would be a ton of people within Texas who wouldn't support that measure, which would give Texas one of two options. Were they to secede? Well, they would have more than two options. But one of their biggest options would be, okay, we're going to allow you to leave the state, or we're going to force you to stay here. And what type of environment would that create if we were like, no, we're going to force you to stay? Because now, the reality is there would be millions of people who would leave Texas, and the United States would support that effort. Like, hey, we'll help you move. We'll help you get out of here. We'll help you stay a part of the main branch. Of course that would happen. So if they were to allow millions of people to leave the state of Texas, that would damage their economy going into the future. That would damage all types of things for them politically. And again, force them to do everything in-house along with, form a tighter knit relationship with Mexico, not just politically, but also culturally. So it's like, well, the other option is forcing them to stay. And if you force them to stay, well, what type of tyrannical situation do you have on your hands there? So again, it's like all the talk of secession, it's not going to happen because the cons far outweigh the pros of doing it, of seceding from a nation that you're surrounded by on all sides. What are you going to do?